Hiring a CRM admin, streamlining B2B sales. Why most CRMs don't actually make selling easier. Most B2B teams already pay for a CRM, but the day-to-day reality is that reps still fight the system. When 91% of companies with more than 11 employees use a CRM and 82% rely on it for sales reporting, the competitive advantage isn't having Salesforce or HubSpot, it's running it well. The gap between we have a CRM and our CRM drives pipeline is where a dedicated CRM admin earns their keep. This matters even more for outbound-heavy teams using cold calling services, a cold email agency, or an outsourced sales team to generate meetings at scale. If your SDR agency, internal or outsourced, is making hundreds of dials and sending high-volume sequences, your CRM becomes the source of truth for who was touched, what happened, and what should happen next. Without tight administration, the CRM turns into a data graveyard that creates friction instead of momentum. The practical cost shows up in rep productivity. Multiple studies estimate sellers spend only 28 to 37% of their time actually selling, because the rest gets swallowed by admin tasks and tool work. A well-scoped CRM admin role is designed to claw that time back by simplifying workflows, automating logging, and keeping lead routing and follow-up consistent. CRM administration is a revenue function, not an IT ticket queue. A decade ago, CRM administration often lived in IT and revolved around permissions and fixing things when they break. In modern B2B sales, that mindset is a liability because your CRM is the operational backbone for outbound sales development, attribution, and forecasting. When roughly 70% of CRM projects fail primarily due to poor user adoption, you don't solve it with more features. You solve it with ownership, process, and training. We recommend treating your CRM admin as part of sales leadership or revenue operations with a direct line to the VP of sales or head of RevOps. They should sit in revenue meetings, understand pipeline targets, and build backwards from the metrics leadership actually uses to make decisions. If the admin's incentives are aligned with quota outcomes, the CRM stops being software we tolerate and starts behaving like a real pipeline machine. This is also how you unlock the upside that most teams leave on the table. Companies using CRM effectively can see up to a 29% increase in sales and 34% higher sales productivity. Those gains don't come from buying a license. They come from configuring the system around how SDRs and AEs actually work, then maintaining discipline as your motion evolves. What a strong CRM admin owns in an outbound B2B motion. A modern CRM admin is effectively the product manager of your sales system. They own the experience for SDRs, AEs, managers, and leadership. Layouts, required fields, automation, integrations, and the data model that makes reporting trustworthy. In outbound, that means the CRM has to support speed, fast tasking, fast call, email logging, clean handoffs, and clear visibility into who's next without digging. They also own data quality as an always-on habit, not a quarterly cleanup. Poor data quality is brutally expensive. Gartner estimates an average annual impact of $12.9 million, and sales feels it immediately through bounced emails, wrong numbers, duplicates, and broken attribution. A great admin puts guardrails in place with validation, deduplication, field standards, and clear object ownership so your outbound team isn't burning dials on ghosts. Finally, the role is measured by adoption, not by how many custom fields get created. If your CRM admin can't drive consistent usage, your reporting collapses and sellers default back to spreadsheets. The job is to make doing the right thing the easiest thing for reps, even when you're running multiple channels and partners across a B2B sales agency, sales outsourcing programs, and internal teams. How to hire and onboard a CRM admin without creating more chaos. Before you hire, define what success looks like in the next 12 months in concrete operational outcomes, not vague goals. For example, you might target consistent activity capture, accurate meeting attribution, and a measurable reduction in rep admin time. This gives the CRM admin a roadmap that aligns with revenue goals rather than a backlog of random requests from power users. During onboarding, have your admin audit the CRM with a sales-first lens. What slows SDRs down? Where handoffs break? And which reports leadership can't trust? Then, prioritize fixes that remove friction in the first 30 to 90 days. Simplified SDR layouts, tighter lead routing, and automated follow-ups, because early wins are how you rebuild belief in the system. If your team is using a cold calling agency or pay-per-appointment lead generation partner, make clean sync and clean attribution part of the first sprint. Reporting should be built backward from decision-making. Start by asking what your weekly revenue meeting needs to see: meetings booked, contacts touched, conversion by sequence, list source performance, and aging by stage. Then ensure the CRM captures the minimum required inputs to make those numbers accurate. If leadership can't trust the dashboards, reps won't trust the process, and you drift toward the same adoption failure patterns that sink 70% of CRM initiatives. A CRM admin isn't there to maintain your CRM. They're there to protect selling time, data integrity, and forecast confidence. Best practices: build for reps first, then scale for leadership. The fastest way to improve adoption is to design workflows around how reps actually sell. That means your CRM admin should shadow SDRs and AEs, then eliminate unnecessary clicks, hide non-essential fields, and place the few must-have inputs where reps already live. If logging a call feels like paperwork, your activity data will be incomplete and your outbound attribution will always be questionable. Keep governance simple but firm. Standard objects, naming conventions, and a lightweight change request process prevent field sprawl and rogue customizations that make onboarding painful and reporting unreliable. When every rep customizes the CRM their own way, leadership loses a clean pipeline view, and SDRs lose trust in the data. Training has to be continuous, not a one-time launch event. Adoption is behavior change, and it's especially critical when you're coordinating internal teams with B2B sales outsourcing, an outbound sales agency, or multiple cold-calling companies. A strong admin runs structured onboarding, office hours, short role-based walkthroughs, and release notes so the system stays consistent as your motion changes. Common mistakes that break outbound and how a CRM admin fixes them. One of the most common failures is treating CRM administration as a side job for a sales manager or a helpful power user. When CRM ownership is part-time, processes drift, integrations get ignored, and reps create workarounds that destroy consistency. The fix is explicit ownership with KPIs tied to productivity, pipeline hygiene, and adoption, because everyone owns it usually means no one does. Another frequent issue is overcomplicating the CRM for SDRs and BDRs. When logging outreach requires too many required fields or too much navigation, reps simply stop doing it, and your pipeline math becomes guesswork. The admin's job is to ruthlessly simplify the SDR experience, automate what can be automated, and keep required data to what's necessary for routing, attribution, and forecasting. Finally, teams often fail to connect the CRM to outbound tools and lead sources, which is fatal if you outsource sales or run a cold calling team alongside a cold email agency. Duplicates, missed handoffs, and broken campaign tracking pile up fast, and you lose the ability to tell which lists and sequences actually produce meetings. A CRM admin prevents this by enforcing clean integration rules so every dial, email, response, and meeting lands in the CRM with consistent tagging and ownership. Optimization. Reclaim selling time with automation, attribution, and AI. The most valuable automations aren't flashy. They remove daily friction. A CRM admin can set up lead routing, task creation, and status updates that eliminate manual steps and prevent leads from going stale. When sellers are only spending 28 to 37% of their time selling, even small workflow improvements can translate into meaningful increases in meetings booked and pipeline created. Attribution is the other major lever, especially for pay-per-meeting lead generation and multi-channel outbound. If you can't connect meetings to sequence, list source, and channel, you can't scale what works or cut what doesn't. This is where the CRM admin's reporting discipline matters. Leadership should be able to answer, quickly and confidently, which outbound efforts are producing opportunities, not just activity. AI can add leverage, but only with governance. Some stats suggest businesses using CRM with generative AI are 83% more likely to exceed sales goals, but uncontrolled AI can also create messy notes, inconsistent fields, and privacy issues. Put the CRM admin in charge of piloting AI features with guardrails, measuring impact on reply rates and data quality, and rolling out only what improves outcomes without compromising trust. Next steps. Turn your CRM into a pipeline engine. If you're wondering when it's time to hire, the signal is simple. Once 5 or more sellers live in the CRM daily, or you're running multiple outbound channels, the cost of winging it compounds fast. You'll feel it as spreadsheet forecasting, inconsistent stages, unclear meeting attribution, and constant rep complaints that the CRM slows them down. In that environment, a dedicated admin is less of a headcount and more of a force multiplier. Measure success with operational metrics that map to revenue outcomes: adoption rates, activity capture, speed to lead, data completeness on key fields, and fewer shadow systems. Your goal is to make the CRM the easiest place to work and the most reliable place to get answers. Over time, this is how you consistently unlock the 34% productivity lift that strong CRM usage can enable. When you pair strong CRM administration with a proven outbound engine, you get compounding returns. At SalesHive, we've seen the biggest wins when our outbound programs, cold call services, list building services, and email outreach flow into a CRM that's clean, governed, and built for fast follow-up. If you're using sales outsourcing or considering an outsourced B2B sales motion, start by ensuring your CRM admin owns the system end-to-end, so every meeting booked becomes usable pipeline, not just another disconnected activity.